Stevie Wonder there on the harmonica. Isn't she lovely on BBC Radio Oxford? Right, nearly 20 past 11. Loads of new movies come out today because it's Friday, which means it is time to catch up with movie critic Van Connor, who comes on the show every Friday at this time, just to talk about some of the movies he gets to see before they're released and let us know whether they're worth going to see in the cinema or streaming at home this weekend. Good morning, Van Connor, and welcome back to the show. How are we?
Oh, always a pleasure, Mr. Ball. You know that. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Got a nice weekend of sunshine coming up this weekend, so we're probably looking at Sunday, I would assume, for movies, because that's when we've got the thunderstorms, that's when the rain returns, and that's when it's not, great weather. Yeah. So, what have you got?
Good plan.
What have you got for us today, then? What have you seen this week?
Well, I saw the new Apes movie. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is the fourth one of the sort of reboot prequel series they've done. And another movie we're going to talk about first called The Almond and the Seahorse, which, let's just say it's a good job that it's nice weather this weekend, because you can avoid this in cinemas. So this is an adaptation of a stage play starring Rebel Wilson. This has been touted instantly as Rebel Wilson's first non-comedy role, which, I'm sorry, Michael Bay would like a word about pain and gain, if you don't mind, love. Anyway, so this is about two women, both in long-term serious marriage type relationships. Both of their partners have debilitating conditions where they're losing their faculties and effectively reverting to losing their memories entirely and reverting to child stage of learning, effectively. Is about the relationship that forms between these two strangers in this same situation, be it friendship, romantic, or otherwise. I've got a clip for you of these two meeting for the first time. This is Charlotte Gainsbourg and Rebel Wilson, and do pay attention to the sizzling chemistry.
It'll kill you, Which is why I like to smoke alone and in silence. Some things require full awareness and concentration. It's a talent, some might say it's a discipline. Total commitment to the slow process of self-annihilation.
I've never been one for small talk either. It changes you.
Do not be nice to me.
I wouldn't dream of that.
Do you know, Rebel Wilson, it's meant to be an English movie, right? But she's still got her Australian accent going on there.
Indeed, it appears that her parents named her for her respect for the thespian arts. Rebel. There we are. Absolute bilge. Complete shash. Hated every second of it. 96 minutes of my life. I'd rather have been in Iraq. It was terrible. Absolutely dreadful. Middle of the road. Badly written, badly shot bilge. If you saw this on the Hallmark channel, you'd think they were having a bad day. It's about the most forgettable humdrum... Do you know, I almost said humdrum, Hallmark channel. Great. But I've already done that, haven't I? Yeah, so no, this isn't good enough for the Hallmark channel. Wow. This is absolute rubbish. And if I was using the new release of a movie to promote a book, well, I just hope the book's better than this. I mean, presumably it has to be. It's a low bar. But I have heard friends' reviews of her book. Apparently it's exactly as bad. This is absolutely demonstrable. I can't even call it middle of the road garbage, because at least if you're in the middle of the road, there's traffic going by and something's happening. So, no.
Didn't enjoy it then.
The plague. The Almond and the Seahorse. Did not enjoy 1 second of it. There's no almond. There's no seahorse. Waste of a title. Absolute rubbish.
Yes, this is what confuses me. Like, they've called it that, but there is no reference to an almond or a seahorse in the whole movie. So what is the point of calling it Almond and the Seahorse? I don't get it.
No, there are no lambs in The Silence of the Lambs either, but at least they explained it.
Well, exactly that. There was an explanation as to why. Yeah, because of her hearing the cries of the lambs. Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, if you do want to go and see it, you can make your own mind up. You can see The Almond and the Seahorse this weekend at the Odeon and View Oxford, as well as at the Light in Banbury. Let's move on then to something I know is not going to be a bad movie, because it's the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I'm pretty certain you're going to have loved this.
Well, you just said if you want to go and see it anyway, you can go and check it out at the local venues. And my thing there is the only way anybody's seeing that is if this one is sold out. So, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which you've got to go and see. This thing's a blast, right? So, 4th installment of the Apes prequel series. This is the longest one. It's nearly 2.5 hours long. Lop a good 25 minutes out of it, easy. But good fun. Really loved it. So, this has Owen Teague stepping in for Andy Serkis. This is 200 or 300 years, I think this meant to be, after the end of War of the Planet of the Apes. We get a sort of epilogue for that movie as well at the beginning. And we find out what happened to the legacy of the talking ape Caesar, the first talking ape in the Planet of the Apes mythos, and what became of, his teachings and the society that he built in the conclusion of that trilogy. It's now, say, several hundred years later. A young, aspiring warrior finds himself forced on a quest to liberate his people when his village is ransacked. His remote, isolated village is ransacked by the followers of the late, great Caesar, led by the new villain, Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durant, voiced by, because they actually physically play them. And so you've got an Apes movie that sees a new team up and a new assessment of everything that the ape Caesar left behind. I've got a clip for you. This is Noah, our new hero, meeting a new human who isn't supposed to be able to, but seems to be able to talk.
What did I miss?
She spoke. She called my name.
You misheard.
You said this Nova was smarter than most.
Within reason. Some intelligence, to be sure.
I have a name. May. I know where they're taking your clan.
I've got to say the CGI for this does look incredible, which you'd kind of expect, really, for a movie with this budget, right?
Oh, Apes movie, though. I mean, these things have been churning out badass CGI for 13 years now, and they've never looked anything less than absolutely marvelous. Owen Teague does not quite have the cadence that Serkis did, but, that's because he's Andy Serkis. Imagine trying to follow Andy Serkis in a mocap before. It's never going to happen. But he's still very good. The cast here are noticeably dialed down from the sort of more A-list talent that you had appearing in previous ones. There's no Gary Oldman in this one. There's no Woody Harrelson. Instead, you get Kevin Durant and Peter Macon from the Orville. And you're like, fine, okay, I get that. If you're putting the money into keeping the visuals this good, that I'm down with that. I will say, though, I thought the colour was a bit dialed down. For a movie that's mostly set in a forest and jungles, the green is surprisingly grey. But really good fun, a really solid, well-directed, entertaining, but also quite moving film. They make you really care about these characters. They always have in this series anyway. Apes is low-key one of the best franchises in existence.
Were you crying over CGI, Van?
It was not for the first time, I'll have you know, sir.
Brilliant. Well, it sounds like this is a winner this week, and you can see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes this weekend. It's on at Curzon, Odeon and View Cinema in Oxford, as well as Cineworld, Whitney, Didcot and at the View in Bicester. So pretty much the whole of Oxfordshire is showing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes at the moment, which is
IMAX too.
And it's on at IMAX, yeah, of course. So it's worth going to see it on a bigger screen if you can. Very quickly, next week, anything you've got your eye on?
Ooh, well, next week's all about If, which is the new Ryan Reynolds fantasy movie. We've also got Horde, which is a new horror movie. And I think this is the week, I'm seeing it in advance, but I think it's the week after is Garfield. So we are going to be talking about Garfield the next fortnight, just to warn you about that in advance.
I didn't know there were any Garfield fans around still. I mean, that was quite a few decades ago.
I know, right? How does a Garfield movie sell in 2024? I mean, do kids know Garfield? I don't know.
Is there a Cabbage Patch movie coming out in a couple of months as well?
Do you know, after Barbie and now Garfield, I will bet you folding money we get a Cabbage Patch movie in 5 years.
You're probably right, actually. All right, well, Van, have a lovely weekend in the sunshine, and we will catch up on Friday next week, all right?
Until the next time, good sir.